Let's hope the Marlins have saved some of that offense for the rest of this 4-game series. That was just game 1. It pulled the Fish even at 500. Milwaukee dips 9 under. This would be game 2. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hunt. You kind of felt it was coming, Tommy, and that was because the Marlins over the weekend had the perfect game thrown at them on Saturday. They struggled in the other 2 games to score runs. And then they struggled yesterday. Early in the ballgame, Chris Narveson was sticking it in their proverbial ear.
Yeah, you know what? The last time a Major League club was shut out the first 5 innings and then scored 13 runs or more, it was the Marlins last year against Arizona.
Yeah, but then a boatload of runs for the Marlins came forth in the 6th inning.
Yeah, it all got started. Chris Coughlin got things going with a base hit. Hanley smoked one. The Marlins had a couple of doubles, a triple, a home run, and some singles in that inning. Cody really launched one on a fastball from Narveson, and then Ronnie Paulino again touched up Narveson with one of those doubles. Big pinch hit by Mike Lamb to drive in a run. Got Ronnie Paulino to the plate. Chris Coughlin drove one past the right fielder, Corey Hart, for a triple. A couple of runs came in to score on that 3-base hit. It wasn't over yet. Cameron Maven smoked one past the center fielder, put on his running shoes, and had an inside-the-park home run. The last time the Marlins saw one of those on their side was Emilio Bonifacio on opening day last year.
So I think that's what the Dolphins envisioned Ted Ginn doing a little more of when he was here. Here's the outburst by the Fish. Just if you were scoring with us at home or didn't even see it, for the Marlins, a huge day, obviously.
Yeah, because they came into the game with not many extra base hits, a low-scoring series against Philadelphia, and so it was nice to see everybody bust out. But here's the thing. Remember the 13 runs scored against the White Sox in Washington? Well, it was after that, then everything kind of shut down. So you hope the Marlins can sustain the offense that they showed yesterday.
And the Marlins will go at it with Ricky Nolasco in this one. Nolasco, remember his last start was stopped by rain. Dave Bush will go for the Milwaukee Brewers. There's your pitching matchup. Bush just 1-5. Nolasco at 4-4. It's the Brewers. It's the Fish. It's game 2 of a 4-game series. When we return, Email Tuesday. Gotta love it. Game 2 of a 4-game series. And we've got Craig Minervini and Craig Minervini and Jeff Conine.
Yes, sir.
I almost doubled up on you there, Craig.
That's all right. Craig with Craig. We'll have to do a different camera shot. Thanks, Rich. It's Email Tuesday. We'll take your emails throughout the game, as Rich and Tommy enjoy doing. You can direct questions as well to us. We already have one for you, Niner. And it is from, Michelle, I believe, in Miami. And the question is, what did you see, Niner, from Mike Stanton in the spring? And when do you expect Mr. Stanton to be with the ball club? It is June 1st.
Well, I got to see, obviously, an extended look both last spring and this spring. And a couple things really stand out for me as an old veteran guy that's been retired is the way he approached his game as a young player. I mean, when we first saw him last year in spring training, 19 years old, I noticed he would sit at the end of the dugout in a folding chair and just study the game. He was out there looking at the players, looking at the pitchers, seeing how everything was working, not joking around or goofing off in the dugout. And then when you get to what he does on the field is, for one thing, the most, I think, impressive thing is the huge power. I mean, you've got major league hitters, quality established major league hitters that are oohing and awing around the batting cage watching this guy's balls travel out of the stadium. I mean, he was hitting balls or shots over the clubhouse and left center field. So big power. We're probably going to expect to see Mike Stanton, I would say, in the middle of this month sometime.
Strasburg's June 8th. Just one quick follow-up. Would the Marlins wait for home or not necessarily because he's an everyday player? Nationals obviously want Strasburg to start at home. Any
it's
idea?
not going to matter, I think, for the Marlins. When they can get his offense and put it in the lineup, they're going to do it as soon as they can.
Whatever.
It doesn't matter.
Is it possible next road trip?
I would say yes, it's definitely possible.
Okay. All right, interactive poll question. We'll have your results, and we'll take it during the game. Text your answers to 789-789. Best part of the Marlin broadcast 2010. A, all games in HD. These are all new additions.
B, the new Exmo camera.
C, Fox Track Strike Zone.
D, my personal favorite, Jay Conine on all home games.
Oh, you're not going to start voting again. Like, what was that last one?
What was the number?
789-789. We're going to update you during the game. We'll have the results for you after the game. Standard text messaging rates do apply. All right, we're set for baseball here. Dave Bush goes for his second win. Ricky Nolasco goes for his fifth win. Game 2 against the Brew Crew. Coming up next on Fox Sports Florida.
Minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com. Call 800-947-AUTO. By Toyota, moving forward. By AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T. Rethink possible. It's hot. It's clear. It's Ricky on the mound and at the plate. Ricky Nolasco throws a strike to Ricky Weeks with George Kataris and Ryan Braun to follow in the first for the Milwaukee Brewers. Nolasco making his 11th start of the season. His 10th start of the season was cut short by rain.
Yeah, you look at the numbers on Ricky, and you always see the difference in strikeouts and walks. No walks in his last 2 starts, but he's given up way too many runs. So we'll see if Ricky can have command, and when he has command, he can be tough.
0-2 on Weeks. That one's in the seats. One thing Ricky has not been tough on, and that is the Brewers in his career, although he really hasn't made a lot of starts, just 3 of them. And he was kind of at the depths of his struggles last year when he faced Milwaukee. The start that he made last year went just 3 2/3 innings, and he gave up 8 runs on 7 hits. That would be strike 3, Chad Fairchild says.
Yeah, I have a feeling the Brewers are going to be seeing a little different Ricky Nolasco than they saw in that game.
Here's the Brewers batting order. You've seen Weeks. Please welcome George Kataris to the show. Ryan Braun in left. Prince Fielder, always steady. Casey McGee is having a very big year. Corey Hart is hot right now. There has been a Jim Edmonds sighting. He's off the disabled list and he's in center field. Alcides Escobar hits 8th and Dave Bush hits 9th. And Ricky has thrown nothing but strikes tonight.
How about Kataris in the ball game yesterday? He hit in the 8th spot and moved all the way up to the number 2 spot. So Ken Maka trying to get the left-handed bat, and a guy who's got a pretty good eye at the plate.
Strokes one out Ugla's way. Daniel tosses it to first. Ricky's got 2 outs. That's even faster than we were able to introduce the defense.
Yeah, but we have one more out to go, so we can get you that defense. Coughlin, Maben, and Ross in the outfield. We've got Cantu, Ramirez, Ugla, and Sanchez around the infield with Ronnie Paulino behind the plate.
Ryan Braun, ladies and gentlemen. A 1-for-3 day yesterday. It looked like a good day for the Brewers yesterday early. They scored 3 runs out of the chute. Braun's double drove in a run. And the University of Miami product having another steady year. 33 RBIs, 8 homers. The Brewers' problems don't lie in their lineup. The Brewers' problems are in their rotation and in their bullpen right now. This is a team that can hit and will hit. Just like that, Maben picks it off the turf. Braun's got himself another double.
This guy just has a solid swing. 17th double of the year. There's a mistake. The fastball was up, about belt high, and you make that mistake to Ryan Braun, you're almost glad he hit a double because that's a pitch he can hit out. And as he cruised into second base, the trailer, in that case, the first baseman, is Miami teammate, former Hurricane teammate Gabby Sanchez, trailing him into second.
Braun now tied with Brandon Phillips, second in the National League in doubles, behind Jason Worth. Here is Prince Fielder. Prince Fielder, not only a big-time run producer, a rock in the Brewers' batting order, but a very large presence in their clubhouse as well. This is a guy that is revered by his teammates for his work ethic. He's one of those guys that will get in your face if he senses you're not hustling or not doing it right. He lofts a pop to left field. Coughlin is over, and Ricky Nolasco works a rather uneventful first inning.
Get your pencils ready, everybody, and paper. Here come the fish. Write it down quickly. There'll be a quiz in the third inning. Chris Coghlan in left, Gabby Sanchez at first, Hanley Ramirez at short, Jorge Cantu at third, Uglas at second. Luck at the month of May that Cody Ross had. Ronnie Polino, look at his number right now, hitting .321. Cameron Maben and Nolasco. This would be Dave Bush.
Yeah, you look at Dave Bush, he's a journeyman type guy. He's been around. Not an overpowering pitcher, a very command-oriented right-hander.
Guy that was drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays, traded to the Brewers in the Lyle Overbay trade in 2006. Coghlan is average up to .227. Yesterday, 3 for 5. He's had a very good 2 days at the plate. Just trying to build on that and continue to get good swings and hope for good results.
Yeah, I think we've seen that too. Even the at-bats where he's made outs, he's hit the ball well with good swings.
Three and one. Freddie Gonzalez and the Fish have won 2 in a row. They're back at an even 500 at 26 and 26. It's an email Tuesday, folks. Ask the Marlins at fox.com is our address. Coghlan jumps on that ball, drives it to right center field. That is deep. That is gone. A leadoff home run. Chris Coghlan continues to dig out of that April hole. A strong finish to May and a great start to June.
I'll say, what a start for the month of June. And you just see it in the fact that he was patient. He got the count 3-1. Knew he was going to get a pretty good fastball to hit. Here comes the high fastball. And we've seen Chris Coghlan now go to straightaway center field twice for home runs. He's got some power out there.
Gabby drives one right center field. That ball's well hit. And that ball's off the wall. Sanchez around second. He's going to try for 3, and he's got it. That ball took a big hop. Gabby, a little bit of a hesitation, but somehow he found that next gear. First career triple.
Well, 2 well-hit balls into the deep part of this ballpark. One to the opposite field, the Gabby Sanchez triple. Another fastball. He stays inside. I thought it might hang up a little bit too long, but Corey Hart couldn't get there. Edmonds plays it off the wall. Gabby never hesitated, picks up his first career triple.
And Hanley is presented with a terrific RBI opportunity. And he gets it. Drives it into center field. Dave Bush has to be thinking to himself, this feels an awful lot like 2 starts ago when he lasted just a third of an inning in Minnesota and gave up 7 runs and got 1 out.
His by far worst outing of the year, and it's why his ERA coming into this game was over 5. Remember yesterday in that 6th inning, the Marlins hit for the cycle. Well, they've had a home run, a triple, and a single already in this one. We may not have time for any emails.
Now he bounced back in his start before that. You see the sandwich starts around the awful start at Minnesota. His last start was against Houston, and he was pretty good for 5 innings. Gave up 2 unearned runs. Cantu pops his bat, it sounded like, on a breaking ball. Escobar makes the catch. While we have a chance, here are the Brewers defensively.
Yeah, haven't had a chance to work this in. Let's look at the outfield with Braun. Jim Edmonds, an 8-time Gold Glover, not the outfielder that he once was, though. McGee, infielder at the corners. The young shortstop, Escobar, Weeks up the middle. And behind the plate, George Kataris.
Here's Ugla. Dan yesterday was 1 for 3. He walked 2 more times and continues to do that much better than he had in his first couple of years. Hanley is running on a fastball, and he steals it easily. 7th stolen base.
You know, we talked a little bit about it yesterday. I think we're going to see Hanley run a little bit more. He wants to. Got a great jump there. Straight steal, and not even a throw.
Especially against Kataris, the Brewers catcher, who has thrown out just 1 of 17 base stealers this year. Ugla got a breaking ball and hooks it down the line. Hanley around third. He's going to score. Ugla chugging into second. RBI double.
And there you have it. The cycle already in the inning. See, there's the stolen base. Gives you a good feeling as a hitter. Dan Ugla stays on this breaking ball. Stays back enough that he doesn't hook it. It's our checkers double of the game. If he gets out in front, he hooks that ball and pulls it foul. He's able to keep it fair, pick up an RBI with a double.
And here is Cody Ross, who brought the Marlins back with 1 swing in yesterday's ball game. Bush stays away from him with a breaking ball. We went through the whole scenario in talking about Cody Ross and Chris Narveson and Ken Maka's decision to leave Narveson in to face Ross. After hearing from both Cody and from Maka about the situation, the decision made a lot of sense to both of those individuals.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a struggling bullpen for the Brewers. They needed to stretch Narveson and get some innings out of him, try to get 6. And he struck Cody out twice. And Cody said he wasn't surprised that the left-hander stayed in.
Dave Bush does not look comfortable out there right now. Yeah, Narveson was cruising.
The mistake that Narveson made, he showed Cody the curveball, wanted to get a fastball out of the zone and then use that changeup. But the problem was that fastball was a great pitch to hit, and that's the pitch Cody hit for the 3-run homer.
Bush stays outside, and it's 3-1. You see in this Brewer team, and you saw the agony on Maka 7th, 8th, 9th inning after that 6th. And you feel for him because you've seen the Marlins go through similar stretches. Cody goes after a low fastball and bangs it over to the second baseman, Weeks, who throws him out. I remember 2007 when the Marlins starting pitchers all were hurt. The bullpen was breaking down because the starters weren't going deep. Well, that's kind of what the Brewers are living with, except on the night Giovanni Gallardo starts, and he starts tomorrow for Milwaukee.
Yeah, he matches up tomorrow night against Chris Volstad. A great note for the offense, though, is that 8 different Marlins have an RBI in this series against the Brewers. So they're spreading it out, and that's always a good sign.
Do we have time for the first email?
Sure.
All right. Ronnie Polino stands in with 2 outs. Will from Gainesville. Rich and Tommy, as one of your cult emailers, I have a request. Can we start saying that's how we roll after a home run?
Hey, you're in Gainesville. You can say anything you want. Sure, go ahead. Because
that's
how we roll.
Chris Coughlin. That's how he... No, I can't do it. 3-0 Fish. It's going to be a long night if you're already showing Chewy in the top of the second inning. It's 3-0. Tommy, look. Let's see. I mean, if you don't have access to email and you want to get on the telecast, get a wacky sign
and an inflated monkey.
Yeah.
And that'll get you on.
That's from Dieter in section 132. Casey McGee, Corey Hart, Jim Edmonds.
Is that Dieter of Now We Dance?
Yes, Sprockets. Who had a pet monkey. Loved that monkey. Ricky Nolasco gave up a double to Ryan Braun back in the first. Had a nice talk with Casey McGee about his situation with the Cubs. Aramis Ramirez, of course, a fixture at third base with a long-term contract. And he said that every spring training he and Micah Hoffpower, who was stuck behind D. Lee, would go through the same thing. They'd have a great spring, and they knew they were going back down to AAA. And he pops that one out to right. Ross makes the catch. There's one out. Super Saturday on the 19th. Post-game merengue concert with merengue lessons from Tommy Hutton. And the concert was Sergio Vargas and Millie Quezada following a fireworks spectacular. It's presented by the Dominican Republic Ministry of Tourism. Plus, see the Marlins battle the Rays at 7:10.
I'll bring one of my many sets of bongos.
There's an out. Here's Corey Hart. He hits that one real high, but not that deep. Cameron Maben, who still has the nice little label on the underneath the bill of his cap there. It's a good look. A clean look. I like that. And there's 2 outs. All right, so we've determined that we're not going to say, there's the label. I like that.
A little sticky label.
Authentic Major League center fielder out there. So we're not going to say that's how we roll after every home run. We've decided that?
Just can't do it, no.
Here's Jim Edmonds, who did not play last season. Edmonds, a longtime big leaguer, and a very good one at that. Kept himself in shape and decided he wanted to give it a try this year. Got an invite to camp with the Brewers, impressed, and won a job. Slices that one to left. Coughlin picks it up, and Edmonds has himself a base hit.
Well, he spent a little time on the disabled list with an oblique strain. No problem there with that swing. That's a typical Jim Edmonds swing. He'll be 40 years old June 27th.
2008, he was with the Padres and the Cubs. Of course, longtime Angel and St. Louis Cardinal. Here's Alcides Escobar. He takes a fastball up from Ricky Nolasco. We've had a few Dontrelle Willis questions tonight. Brody from Tequesta wants to know, do you think the Marlins would bring Dontrelle Willis back now that he's been designated for assignment?
Well, we just heard prior to the game that Dontrelle Willis is on his way to join the Arizona Diamondbacks.
And that's because the Diamondbacks picked up the phone, called the Tigers, and in that 10-day window,
like you were talking about,
teams can do that. And they say, all right, you've designated him for assignment. What would it take for you to trade him to us? Oh, by the way, you're going to have to pay most of his salary, but we can send you a AA prospect if you want. And that's, I haven't read the details, but that's probably what has happened. Check swing, and it's fouled off. And I think for a team like the Diamondbacks, it makes sense in that they're rolling the dice that they somehow can tweak or fix what ails Dontrelle, because they are very much like the Brewers in Arizona. They are desperate for pitching, pitching.
They need some tweaking and fixing. They've lost 8 in a row.
Ground ball, Cantu got a piece of it, but just a piece. And Escobar is going to have himself a base hit.
And the Diamondbacks are 11.5 games behind the Padres in that West. Ball hit pretty well. This is a tough error.
Oh, they gave him an error.
They gave him an error.
Wow.
That's why he said it was a tough error.
It looks easier in Fox Exmo, but in real time, that ball was hit hard. He was reaching on his backhand down the third base line.
I may pencil that one in with the anticipation of a change. Even though, you know what, if you talked to Jorge Cantu, who's one of the greatest stand-up guys, he would probably say, you know, I need to make that play.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. All right, we showed it in Fox Expo. Here's full speed.
Even if he picks it, it's a tough throw all the way across the diamond. Pretty good runner in Escobar, too.
That's the part of the equation where I think it should be a base hit, is the fact that it's pulled down the line. Escobar is running, and Cantu's going to have to make a perfect pick, and it's still you're not sure he's going to get him. But for Nolasco, it doesn't matter what the scoring decision is. He still has to get Dave Bush. Bush chops it down the third base line. So Dontrelle Willis is headed to Arizona for all of you Dontrelle Willis emailers tonight. And from what I read this morning, that the Marlins did show mild interest, but certainly they're not willing to give up as much as some other teams, and one of those teams, obviously, Arizona.
Well, also, if you think about it, Rich, if, let's say, the Marlins had Dontrelle Willis, where would he pitch? His tendency of wildness, you would not want him coming in out of the bullpen.
Well, the Mets are faced with the same situation right now with Oliver Perez.
Yes.
Who won't go away.
He won't accept an assignment to the minor leagues.
No, he
try to work things out.
Here's the 1-2. Struck him out, outside corner. Delayed call by Chad Fairchild. And Ricky pitches around the air by Cantu. More emails, maybe more hits when we get back. On top, it's the bottom of the second. Our interactive poll, we started it on Marlins Live, and you can vote on your favorite addition to Marlins telecast on Fox Sports Florida. The questions dealt with some of the new things that we've been able to add, such as the Fox Exmo, all games in high definition.
You're referring to Jeff Conine as a new thing.
Fox Track Strike Zone. No, the new thing is that Jeff is on all home games.
Okay.
If we could throw that back up just so you give the number for folks. 789-789. Jeff Conine in the lead. 40. How did Niner get past the HD? That's impressive.
Well, maybe it's because fans like to see Niner in HD.
I'll give him that. Here's Cameron Maben. Maben takes outside. Randy has one of our emails tonight. After watching the amazing Inside the Parker by Cameron Maben, I began to wonder how many Inside the Parkers have been hit in this stadium. Maben takes a strike. Well, according to Stats Inc., Sun Life Stadium has given up 12. And that's the second most inside the park homers since it opened in '93. Maben lines it into right field. That's a base hit. The only park that has given up more inside the park homers in the period that this stadium opened is Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City.
I saw that, and that was a surprise to me. I would have guessed maybe Coors Field. Of course, Coors Field, when the Rockies came into play, they played at Mile High for a few years. So Coors Field hasn't been around as long as Sun Life. Or the Rockies haven't been playing in it as long.
Ricky tries to bunt and fouls it off. And actually, the 12 total is Marlin inside the Parkers. There's actually been 16, including visitors, hit. And that is second to Kauffman Stadium. Kauffman Stadium has 20. Yeah, our director Jim Hawley just brought up Willie Wilson's name.
Of course, that was before '93.
Well, maybe Jeff Conine.
Yeah.
Actually, Conine, his Kansas City career was before '93 as well, right? Because he was here in '93. Maybe Bo Jackson. Maben diving back in. Ricky at the plate with the count 0-1. Maben with the big day yesterday with the inside the park home run, and he is singled to open up the second inning. He's running on the pitch, and Ricky tries to bunt and fouls it off. Maben had an enormous jump, and that's one of those where if Ricky had just let it go, Cameron would be standing at second base.
And that's a tough play for a pitcher to surmise all that while he's scoring the bunt. An everyday player may pick that up a little easier.
You're right. Easier said than done. Maben's not running, and Ricky takes outside. Speaking of Maben, we've had a few of these questions tonight as well. This is from Eric. Who do you think will be sent to the minors to make room for Mike Stanton?
I have no idea. Right now, Chris Coghlan and Cameron Maben are swinging the bats well.
They are.
But here's the dilemma. If it's somebody else, then you have too many outfielders. Then Coghlan and Maben are not playing every day. If it's somebody else that goes down, because you want Stanton to play all the time. Cody Ross is going to be in the lineup. So that's the dilemma.
Maben's running. Kottaras' throw is high, and Maben has swiped it. Opposing base runners have now stolen 19 of 20 bases against George Kottaras.
Good to see Cameron Maben. He's 5 out of 6 now in steals. And that's part of his game that he's working on and would like to see continue to improve. Better check with Ozzie Guillen if that's okay to do in the second inning. 3-0 score.
Come on. Come on. Hey, you know sarcasm doesn't start till the 5th inning. That's an unwritten rule of baseball. Here's Coghlan. If you were just sitting down at dinner and you missed the first inning, you missed a home run by Chris Coghlan. I mean, a blast to right center field up on the blue tarp.
Pretty much right over that 404 sign. Chris now 8 hits for his last 21.
Here's a look at it. That's one of those homers, Tommy, the other day when you were talking about the homer chart. Homer to center, homer to right, homer to left. What would you say this one would be?
Oh, that's center field, because that's a big part of the field. So that's center field. Not straightaway center field, but it's center field.
Okay. Escobar.
It's not dead center, but it's center field.
It would belong in the center field group. Coughlin's third. Chris now 4 for 6 in this series. It's a hot topic around everywhere, and that is what happens with if Mike Stanton comes up, and everyone assumes, and all indications are within a couple of weeks, he's going to be here as he continues to hit well. All the home runs and the RBIs, his on-base percentage is sky high. But it's a great problem to have if guys like Maben and Coughlin all of a sudden are catching fire.
You know, it's easy to say this, but it is true, and you see it happen so often in baseball. Things seem to work their way out, and that'll probably be the case.
Ball doesn't go far enough for Maben to advance. And I don't know that it had anything to do with what we've seen over the last week from Maben and Coughlin. But as Stanton's arrival gets closer, both of those guys all of a sudden have started to heat up.
I think just coincidence.
Coughlin goes after the breaking ball.
But the big announcement that Steven Strasburg, the highly touted right-hander with the Nationals, is going to make his Nationals debut June 8th at Nationals Park against the Pirates.
Also, along with that, news that the Nationals, as you see Gabby on deck, will be very cautious and careful with his pitch count, his inning workload. They don't want to increase a lot from what he threw last year.
Well, right now he's throwing 50 in the third innings in the minor leagues between AA and AAA. 6-2 with a 1.43 ERA between those two stops.
One out, Coughlin trying to drive home this run. Marlins already have 5 hits, 3 of them for extra bases. Chris pulls it on the ground to second, and Weeks throws him out, almost pulling Fielder off the base. 2 outs, up comes Gabby. Moses in Miami. All-Star game, Marlins. Well, his question is worded this way. Do you think Dan Uggla and Jorge Cantu will make the All-Star game as starters or as reserves? And I think the only guy that has a shot to make it as a starter being voted in would be Hanley Ramirez.
Well, Moses, if you want those guys to make it as starters, you have to vote. That's the way it works.
MLB.com or Marlins.com will get you that online ballot.
Gabby Sanchez will get some votes.
I think one thing that the Marlins reserves may have in their favor is the fact that Charlie Manuel will be involved. The league is involved in selecting the reserves. The player voting also factors in who is a reserve. In the, I guess, 5-6 years ago, for the longest time, it was that manager, the manager of the World Series. He selected the reserves and the pitchers, which put a lot of undue stress and pressure on that manager.
Put that manager in a very bad spot.
Yeah.
Because you're always going to offend somebody. There always is going to be somebody left out.
And so that player oftentimes would have resentment towards that manager. And so the league, for the most part, has taken it out of the manager's hand with the player vote. The fans have that final vote as well.
I mean, it gets really tough when you have players that might have incentives, something in their contract, a bonus if they make the All-Star team.
Full count, 2 outs. Gabby with Hanley on deck. And Maben over at third base. It's outside. Nice job by Gabby to give Hanley an at-bat with runners at the corners. Our telecast tonight, presented by the authority of the Marlins, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Accounts description. The game might not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Fish. Dave Bush has already thrown 41 pitches. And that misses outside. Whoa. Huh. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Chad Fairchild. Well, Toyota brings you Fox Tracks. And that was outside. So I take that back. Unfortunately, Chad Fairchild can't take that back.
Yeah, you were correct, but it's still 0-1.
One ball, one strike. Pitch is inside. Jason in Manchester has this email. Today represents the day where rookies can be called up from the minor leagues without being eligible for Super 2 arbitration. Now that the financial reasons are out of the way, what are the Marlins waiting for to call up Michael Stanton? It's not true. There is not a hard, fast date.
No, there's not.
What they do is to actually determine the date once the season is over. So there is always a little bit of guesswork involved. Hanley pops it up. We'll talk about that more in a second. Prince Fielder makes the grab. The Marlins leave a runner out there in scoring position. New season, high school teammates reunite 11 years later in Hockeytown. Follow the journey of Catholic Central versus Trenton. Replay the series.com. Replay the Brewers lineup. Part 2, second time around. Ricky Weeks, George Kataris, and Ryan Braun against Nolasco. And a chopper over the diving Cantu. That's what little speed and the ability to bunt will get you. And that's a third baseman playing in on the grass just about even with the bag. And so when you hit a sharp ball like that, instead of an out, it's a base hit.
Yeah, I think it also shows you how fast and how hard this infield and outfield is. That ball got through quickly.
I was talking to some of the Phillies about that this weekend, and they could not believe how fast the outfield and the infield is right now in this ballpark. That ball is cranked by Kataris.
Yeah, it's just a tad under AstroTurf.
And that's AstroTurf, the old AstroTurf. The new field turf actually is probably slower than this.
Might be like this, yeah. They used to say the old ballpark in Arlington, because of the heat, that would be swift, and balls could get through that infield quickly.
Well, we can ask the Rangers after their 3-game series here to compare the two. It's 0-2 to Kataris. I wanted to finish the Super 2 arbitration. It's a date that is set at the end of the season. I think the percentage is right around 16 or 17% of the rookies that come up qualify for Super 2 status, a swing and a miss. And the only way you can quantify that is at the end of the year, after you get all the rookies that came up and you judge the service time and the like. And the cutoff date can fall anywhere from mid-May, sometimes into early June.
So that's why there's no hard date.
No, but it's impressive that Jason is still up in Manchester, England, watching.
Well, it's impressive that in Manchester, England, he's watching us and not soccer.
Here's Ryan Braun. Now that's a strike, and it's 0-1.
Top hitter in the major leagues on the road is Ryan Braun, hitting .387 this year away from Miller Park.
Well, you look at the top 10 in a lot of categories, and there are Brewers sprinkled all over the sheet. Corey Hart, top 5 slugging percentage. We just talked about Braun and his road batting average. On base percentage, Prince Fielder is 6th. Alcides Escobar tied for the lead in triples. Corey Hart leads in home runs. Casey McGee leads in RBIs. Braun is tied for 2nd in runs and 4th in batting average. So you almost get a sense that the Marlins may need more than 3 runs to win this game.
Yeah, and when you have a club, as you pointed out, like the Brewers, who have a lot of mashers, they have a lot of ways to score runs. That's not been the problem for Ken Maka. A little bit of it has in the inconsistency in scoring runs. They've had ups and downs, big series and then series when they can't score.
Nolasco changes speeds and strikes out Braun. So Ricky's got 4 strikeouts now.
Boy, that was a dive bomber down and in. Tough pitch for any hitter, and to strike out Ryan Braun, that's a nice one to get Fielder up with 2 outs.
So Ryan Braun is down, Prince Fielder is up. And Ryan, a 7th grader in Boynton Beach, has this question. Is there a chance that the Marlins will do a version of the Brewers Racing Sausage or the Racing Presidents as they do in Washington at the new stadium? And I think one of our best emails of last year was someone who suggested what type of thing to race in the new stadium, and it was the invasive species race. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Gabby with a nice stab. Steps on the bag. You can have the boa constrictor, the iguana, the parrot. The list almost endless.
lot of connections to 97 today.
Yeah, let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Good stuff. The Marlins guys have really dominated this series against the Brewers at home. They've won 23 of the last 31. Let's zero in on the last 8 in particular, as they've won 7 of the last 8. But look at the numbers, and it's kind of playing out tonight too with the starter ERA and then runs per game. We'll get to it after the pitch. The Marlins in winning 7 of the last 8 here. I'm looking at these numbers. Runs per game, double them up. Home runs, same story. Average 306, 213. Look at that starter ERA, 3.3 to 9.15. Even the bullpens have been a big advantage to the Marlins. Last night, for example, they're 14 hits. They hit 378 in the one game. And this has been unlike the Brewers this year because they've played better on the road than at home, but not in this ballpark. The Marlins, I think you guys agree, had a ballpark advantage last night. We saw Gomez having problems in center field, not knowing all the angles here. We've seen some plays in left field as well, off the wall.
Yeah, you're right. This is not an easy place to play.
This is kind of like when the Marlins go to Pittsburgh. Always been tough for the Marlins to play in Pittsburgh.
For whatever reason. Maybe it's the walk from the hotel across the Roberto Clemente Bridge. Not sure.
The Marlins at PNC Park are 9-19.
Cantu, Ugla, Ross against Dave Bush here in the third. And Cantu fouls it back. This email is from Dennis in Miami. Good evening.
Good evening, Dennis.
Tommy and Rich. Been asking this question for a few weeks now, but I have yet to have it aired and addressed. I would like to hear both of your opinions as to what you believe to be some of the strongest reasons, pitch to Cantu is outside, behind the National League not being willing to adopt the designated hitter as exists in the American League. Thanks and have a great game.
Well, because the National League likes to continue to play baseball the way it was intended to be played. So I hope they never do adapt the designated hitter, because it's a different kind of game, and I think we see that firsthand during interleague play when we play in the American League cities. See the different type, the decisions that are made. It's a whole different brand of game.
Well, in the American League cities, there aren't a lot of decisions to be made.
Yeah.
In terms of how you use the bullpen, when you use your pinch hitters. So, Dennis, very cordial opening to your email. And I guess what my esteemed partner, Thomas Hutton, is saying is that it's not necessarily the National League not willing to adopt the DH. It's the American League not being... You know, actually, I would expect it has a lot to do with the Players Association, too. Ugla with a high pop and a right center field.
Yeah, it adds another hitter, because you have, in many cases, not all the time. I mean, it's easy to look at the Red Sox with a David Ortiz and a guy who really can't play a position. There are a few DHs like that.
There used to be more of those 5, 10, 15 years ago.
And it adds a different player. If the only thing, if it ever changed, then the Players Association would have to make sure another player would be added. They may have to expand rosters to 26, let's say.
So, Dennis, it would have to be negotiated. And it's not necessarily the National League or the American League, but it's Major League Baseball and it's Players Association.
But Dennis won't be able to negotiate with me about trying to get the DH in the National League.
Dennis is a friend of the show. Braun is over. And he makes the catch on that high pop off the bat of Cody Ross.
Good email, though, Dennis. Thanks.
And it's going to bring Ronnie Paulino up. Lost in, I think, yesterday's outburst. The Marlins scoring a ton of runs. It was another big day by Ronnie Paulino. He had 3 more hits yesterday, a couple of doubles. He has been outstanding offensively for the Fish. Obviously very good against lefties. He's been able to this year, with the absence of John Baker, hit righties. Kind of like that. That ball's hit pretty well. Edmonds goes back, reaches up, makes the catch, and the trademark Jim Edmonds tumble after the catch. He's done it for such a long time. Marlins 3-0. on an email Tuesday night. Lots of emails tonight. We'll get to as many as we can. Casey McGee, Corey Hart, and then Jim Edmonds against Ricky Nolasco. And Ricky's breaking ball is inside to McGee, whose 41 RBIs leads the National League. As I pointed out earlier, essentially died on the vine in the Cubs organization behind Aramis Ramirez. He was claimed off waivers when the Cubs essentially left him unprotected after yet another productive year in their minor leagues.
Yeah, and it turned out he had a tremendous rookie year, 16 home runs, hit over 300. He was one of the top candidates for Rookie of the Year, but he didn't start very much early in the season. First 38 games, he only started once for Milwaukee.
He's out of Santa Cruz, California. He said that once he got to AA and AAA and the Cubs knew he could hit, they tried to put him behind the plate and see if he could catch. He's a good third baseman. It's not like they were doing that because of his defense, but they were just trying to find some other place for him to play. Because Ramirez was locked into a long-term deal. That's strike 3 call. Nolasco sharp tonight, Tommy.
Yeah, he is, and sharp with the fastball. He's gotten a couple of called strikeouts, and when he's done that, it's been with that fastball. Got it all working. Pitches, the changeup, the breaking ball. This time he gets McGee with a good fastball.
Michael Z. in Miami Beach. Where will the Marlins bullpen be in the new stadium?
Good question.
That is a good question. I know it's not in center because in center they've got the that big super secret water-themed attraction. That's one to put on our list for the next time we see David Sampson, because we've been down there to tour it, but I don't think anyone addressed the bullpens.
No one pointed out where the bullpens were. Or if they did, we weren't listening.
Our director, Jim Holley, will be down there tomorrow to take the tour, and he will get the answer and have it for you tomorrow night on the
nice
show. Chad Fairchild has got a little Tim McClellan in him, in that he's got that delayed strike call. That sounds like a Captain Morgan ad. The 1-2. Roller up the middle. Hanley won't get it, and neither will Ugla. And I don't think either of them would have been able to get Corey Hart, who runs very well, especially for his size. Phone flipping time. Tommy, take yours out of the pocket, bang it on the desk, and flip it around.
All right, flip it.
You're an ATT guy. Who was the last Brewer to hit an inside-the-park home run?
Oh,
I'm guessing it wasn't Jim Edmonds.
No, you could, wow.
Ricky Weeks.
Bill Hall.
Corey Hart.
Corey Hart would be a good guess, yeah. Bill Hall, when he was with Milwaukee.
You know, they're still paying Bill Hall $7 million this year.
Jim Edmonds with 385 career home runs.
Edmonds was part of the growing process with the Angels in the late 90s. And if you young kids have never seen Jim Edmonds play center field, he's done this for a long time. Well, Fox Exmo.
Well, we told you 8 gold gloves. Maybe doesn't have quite the speed that he once did, but
watch
look at
this catch.
Oh, that was outstanding.
Yeah, in his prime, as good as they get out in center field. And as you noted, his prime has stretched from the mid-90s.
Look at this, directly over his head and then laying out for the catch.
And then on into St. Louis, he was traded between the 99 and 2000 season from Anaheim to St. Louis. Got to the World Series a couple times with the Cardinals and, of course, won a World Championship with St. Louis when the Cardinals beat the Tigers.
You know, the Brewers, in a way, did a similar thing with Gabe Kapler. Brought him out of he was managing. Gabe Kapler had managed in the minor leagues the year before.
Edmonds pulls that on the ground, and with one out, Marlins try to turn 2. Hanley's relay, not in time. Edmonds beats it.
And the interesting thing, I don't think it's going to be this way with Edmonds. But 3 years later, Gabe Kapler's still playing and still doing a nice job as the platoon player.
Let's take another look at this.
Not quite hard enough to be a double play, and Edmonds gets those 39-year-old wheels up the line pretty well.
The connection there is that they have the same agent. And so the fact that Kapler was given second life by the Brewers, and I think Edmonds really wanted to stay in the Midwest. He's
familiar with the teams.
And he has a restaurant in St. Louis, so he wanted to stay close to that.
This would be a good out for Ricky to get, because that way he could start the next inning with the pitcher. But as we pointed out last night, Alcides Escobar puts the ball in play. Strike out, doesn't walk too much. Right now, Escobar right around 250. I think the Brewers would be happy if he hits 250 and plays solid defense.
Amen. At his age, he's just 23, the Venezuelan. That's up and in. We've had a variety of Roy Halladay email questions, and this is a common theme throughout. This is from David in Tequesta. In Halladay's perfect game, if the Marlins had not given up that unearned run and it went to the 10th, and Halladay gives up a base runner in the 10th, would he still get a perfect game or still get credited for one? And the answer is no.
This is tough. This is tough.
Maben sees it.
Good job. Hanley got out there quickly and was pointing to Cameron where that ball was in this twilight.
And Ricky Nolasco with 4 shutout innings against the Brewers on an email Tuesday. Escape the addiction of tobacco.
Focus, Rich. Focus.
Be free. Visit FloridaQuitline.com. I'm losing it by AT&T. Find out
Stay with it.
Possible
Stay with it.
with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T. Rethink possible by South Florida Ford. Visit SouthFloridaFord.com for great offers. As Maben takes a breaking ball high, all our crew is trying to do there is get some more votes for the Fox Exmo in our interactive poll tonight. What's your favorite addition to Marlins telecasts this year? Can we revisit the poll, guys, and see where Jeff Conine is doing? Because Conine is one of the additions. The fact that he's on every game at home this year. The fact that every game is in high definition, that's another category. The Fox Tracks strike zone. There it is. It's updated. And look, somebody took Niner's cell phone away from him. And HD is in the league. 789-789. Standard texting rates apply. Exmo is only at 15%.
It may jump up after that last read.
A swing and a miss. I got a good email for you here. Well, let's do the trivia first. Let's flip the phone. I'm going Corey Hart on this one. Because I don't think Rob Deere ever legged one out inside County Stadium.
Yeah, but sometimes it's the guy you least expect.
Oh, Prince Fielder. At
Prince
Toronto.
Fielder.
Somebody must have run into the wall and been knocked unconscious in Toronto. Ricky's up. Here's the question I was about to lob your way. It's from Andrew in Plantation. Cameron Maben's inside the park home run was very exciting, which got me thinking, what do you guys think was the most exciting play in Marlins history? And I think 2003 you can pick out Jeff Conine throwing out JT Snow at the plate to finish the division series with Hudge holding onto the ball.
Looks like Bush is getting called for a ball going to his mouth.
Now, Dave Bush has a double degree from Wake Forest, so he might be able to talk his way out of this, Tommy.
He's going to get a little help from his manager right now. Remember last year, Dave Bush was hit by a line drive on the tricep, hit by Hanley Ramirez. Put him on the disabled list for a while.
Now, Chad Fairchild said he thought that he touched his mouth.
Now, you can't do it while you're on the pitching rubber. You can do it while you're on the dirt part of the mound. That's the change in the rule this year.
Now, do you think the home plate umpire would ask for help? And here comes first base umpire Mike Riley.
Okay, he's on the pitching rubber right there. It looked like he went to his neck, though. He didn't go to his mouth.
Yeah, he's right.
So the Bush is correct. Ken Maka is correct, but I don't know if they're going to overturn that. Yeah, he did not go to his mouth, though. He went to his neck.
Yeah, that's hard. I mean, his chin was down, the hand went up. It's kind of like Ugla scoring yesterday. All a bunch of dirt, and a hand goes across the plate, and only in Super X mode did we see that Ugla's hand probably didn't touch the plate.
No harm, no foul. He got the strikeout.
Yeah, I think anything close would have been a strike three at that point. All right, Marlins season ticket holders in 2010, don't go to your mouth. You'll be docked a ball, and you can enjoy the best savings and benefits in Major League Baseball. Choose from a variety of plans starting at just $85. Seat selection in the new Marlins ballpark begins this season for current season ticket holders. 1-877-MARLINS. Here's Coughlin. Rips one down the right field line. That one's going to get to the wall. Coughlin racing for second. Chris Coughlin has homered and doubled tonight. And his progression continues.
Well, homered and doubled tonight. Singled twice and tripled yesterday. This is nice. Out over the plate. Beautiful swing. And gets it into that corner for a two-base hit. Just a beautiful swing by Chris Coughlin.
With 2 outs, here is Gabby Sanchez. So, what's your most exciting play in Marlins history, Mr. Marlin historian?
Oh, wow. It's I mean, you could think of plays from the 97 World Series or League Championship Series.
Craig Counsell, a member of the
just
Brewers.
crossing the plate. You know, yeah, there are all kinds of things.
That's a walk-off hit to win the World Series in extra innings in Game 7.
How about a couple of Cody's walk-offs against Cordero?
I think if it's going to be tops in Marlins history, it's got to be a postseason memory. Maybe Gonzo's home run. There's Craig Counsell, who scored the winner. The chicken ran at midnight back in 1997.
Josh Beckett, not too bad in 03.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, I was talking to Craig Counsell today about that. And I said, is it strange to be on the wall? And he says, yeah, it's weird when you're on the other team and to be on the wall. He said he didn't even notice until last year somebody pointed it out to him. And then he was talking about the number 30. And I said, was that a number that you had before that? And he said, no, actually, I got here, and I didn't care what number. It was, July trade deadline. And Mike Wallace, the clubhouse guy for the Marlins, equipment manager, gave him 30 because Wallace was a Willie Randolph fan with the Yankees. So he got number 30. Funny thing is, last year, Willie Randolph comes to Milwaukee as the coach, and he wanted Counsell's number 30. And Craig told me that he told Willie, I wear this because of you. And he said Randolph did not believe him. I said,
you can't argue with that.
He said he would not believe him. He said, well, I wasn't the biggest fan, but Wallace was. And he told me to take number 30, Ruff.
Line shot, speared by Ricky Weeks. Gabby robbed of a hit, and that saved the run. Coughlin with another hit. Marlins have a 3-0 lead. Against one of the most potent offenses in the National League, Ricky Nolasco threw 4 and shut down the Brewers thus far. And he gets the pitcher to lead off the 5th. Dave Bush takes down low. Oh, man. I apologize, Chad Fairchild. But that again didn't look like a strike. Fox Tracks, where was that? It's way outside. Yeah, see, that was pitch number 1. I got to shift into Tim McClellan mode and just wait on everything.
Just kind of hold your ground.
1-1. Gabby over to the wall, and he reaches and makes a couple of new friends and holds on. And there's 1 out.
Number 23, just right.
Not a lot of history, Rich, with a lot of the Brewer hitters, but Ricky Weeks in a brief 7 at-bat history, 5 for 7 now against Ricky.
Ricky Weeks fouls it off. This email is from Stan and Stan. Hi, Tommy and Rich. Love your broadcasts. My father and I watch each and every game from Asheville, North Carolina on the MLB package.
Oh, beautiful area.
We were wondering if Ronnie Polino is making a case for himself to become the starting catcher with the job that he has been doing. The everyday catcher, I guess, is what they're asking. It's from Stan and Stan, who I'm sure enjoyed yesterday's telecast because there were 2 natives of Asheville yesterday. Chris Narveson and Cameron Maben both went to T.C. Roberson High School in Asheville.
That's a good meld right there.
Yeah.
But I think he is making a case. There's Chris Narveson, but I think Ronnie is making a case. But here's what will probably happen. And hopefully Bake comes back and is healthy with that forearm, swinging the bat Ronnie Paulino's never been an everyday catcher, and to be an everyday catcher in South Florida is a lot of wear and tear, and it wears on you. So I think what would be the best scenario is that when Bake comes back, now all of a sudden you have an improved Ronnie who can play against right-handers if needed, but will get that rest when Bake's catching against a lot of the right-handed pitching to get his left-handed bat in the lineup.
One and two the count to Ricky Weeks. Ricky Nolasco at 62 pitches. And he just buried a gorgeous changeup. Ricky Weeks goes down swinging. 6 strikeouts for Nolasco. Time for the Keep Your Edge Spotlight, brought to you by Jesper Men Mustache and Beard. How about Ricky? It's been a great start so far. He's given the Marlins the edge. You too can keep your edge with Jesper Men Mustache and Beard. This is George Kataris. Graham in Deerfield Beach. Yesterday, Jorge Sosa got the win with 1 pitch. Please ask the crack staff, is he the first Marlin to ever get a win after 1 pitch?
I would guess not. I thought the funny thing when I talked to Sosa after the game, he said that was the 3rd time that had happened to him. He said once with the Braves, once with the Mets.
It was Brendan Donnelly last year that I believe with 1 pitch, and it was a wild pitch, wasn't it?
Got a wild
save.
pitch, yeah.
It was a wild pitch, and Ronnie Paulino threw out, I believe, Matt Diaz.
Matt Diaz.
So a 1 pitch, 1 save. Sharp ground ball. Gabby's got it, and he'll step on the bag. There have been guys, as you've noted, who have a win without throwing a pitch. They just pick a guy off. They get the out.
Yeah, I saw that happen.
They get the win. 3-0. This year, a new era cap, an autographed Josh Johnson baseball, a Marlins military cap, a Fox Sports Marlins cap, a very cool Fox Sports Marlins jersey. Let's see what else. We've got a Ford keychain flashlight, a Tommy Bahama gift certificate, and a Fox Sports flash drive. I know you, as technologically advanced as you are.
Yeah.
You need one of those things. Here is Hanley Ramirez. And Hanley pops one up towards Prince Fielder. He'll make the catch. Now, the pledge packs will be available online a week before the auction. So right around the 17th or the 18th of June, you can buy those pledge packs online. And, of course, they'll be for sale the night of the auction as well. If you'd like to come out and spend that evening with us and sit in the auction area and have a baseball park,
that's always a great time.
All-you-can-eat buffet, Go to marlins.com/fantasy. Marlins.com/fantasy. And you'll get your ticket information. You can buy tickets online, actually, for that Friday night game, and it's against the Padres on a Friday night. You'll have your own special section. You get a chance to see Craig do his magic up in the auction area in the concourse. Cantu rips one to left field. That ball's deep, and it bangs off the wall. It takes a little tricky hop, and that's going to allow Cantu to get in there with a double. And so Jorge's got a double, and of course, the fantasy auction last year, Tommy, we raised over $90,000 for the Marlins Community Foundation, and Craig is a big part of that. Craig's already practicing, aren't you, Craig?
I'm getting ready, but you know what I remember last year? The Marlins have a big lead, blew the lead. We went to extra innings, right?
Extra innings, yeah.
And we wound up, I think we almost doubled. Am I not right, Rich?
No, we were
total?
We were at about 70, in the low 70s,
right.
75,000, and it kicked us over 90.
20, you kicked it up about a third. Okay, so wow, that was a great event. But look forward to that.
But we have a couple new wrinkles this year, Craig. Mm-hmm. There's the 10-minute clock rule this year.
Whoa.
Here's Ugla.
Beat the clock.
Yeah, what happens is, it used to be last out, that was the end of the bidding.
Yeah.
But this year, last out, we're going to start a countdown clock for 10 minutes. So 10 minutes after the last out is when the bidding closes. And, of course, the bidding is over the phone and in person. If you want to come out and have dinner, just $50.
It's a great deal.
You get a ticket for the game. You get the all-you-can-eat dinner. The throw's going to go to second, and Cantu is caught there. Jorge tempting the third baseman, Casey McGee, and McGee burned him.
Yeah, he did. He got a little bit too far off the bag. It's one thing to tempt him and maybe try to distract him, but Cantu got a little bit too far off the bag, and give credit to McGee and the second baseman. Ricky Weeks got over there to take the throw from McGee.
Here's Cody Ross now.
15th double of the year, by the way, for Jorge Cantu. That leads the team.
You still get the sense, though, that the Marlins are going to need more than 3 runs to win this game. Big
now,
breaking
Rich,
ball. Yes?
I'm sorry. The 10-minute clock will be right at the conclusion of the game?
Last out of the game.
Okay, that's great.
Last out of the game, and they'll take us right into Marlins Live.
And that's when you kick into high gear, Craig.
Yes.
Yeah, we have great packages again this year. The pledge packs. Everyone can get involved. Just $125. Gets you all that stuff in the pledge pack, including the Josh Johnson baseball.
Always a great television giveaway.
Yeah.
Are they back?
The watch party is back.
Great.
The Carnival Cruise is back. The Tommy Hutton Golf Experience is back. The Dave Bush Experience for the Brewers is turning out better than it started, because the Marlins got 3 in the first, and that's it so far in a 3-0 game.
aquí Nolasco, continúo en la lomita. Cookie, un saludo a Rich y Tommy Hutton.
Rich y Tommy, how are you?
¿Cómo están?
Saludos back to you guys as well. Hey, it's an Email Tuesday, and one of the questions we've been asked, what's the most exciting play in Marlins history? They were talking about Cameron Maybin's inside the park home run, and they wanted to know our opinion. We figured we'd bounce it off you two. What's the most exciting play in Marlins history in your estimation?
I would have to say Craig Counsell stepping on that plate at like almost, midnight on October of 97?
Oh, Gabby! How about that?
Nice. That's his second one today.
He's making lots of friends on that front rail.
No question about that. Great defensive play by him.
I like the way, Cookie, I like the way Gabby gets there, has an idea where he is, too.
Yes,
and look at the guy interfering or almost interfering, a UM guy.
And he's got a UM hat, exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but I would definitely have to put that one up there, guys. Renteria's hit off Nagy in 97 to win the World Series, their first World Series championship.
And at that time, before the Diamondbacks, at that time, the fastest for an expansion team to win a World Series, yeah.
Most definitely. Hey, Tommy, have you noticed anything differently of anything at all from Ricky tonight as opposed to his last two
he
starts?
just has a good pace. He has his pitches have been working.
That ball is hammered.
Maybe.
Right field deep. Maybin at the wall, off the top of the wall. Did it go out?
Se fue. Home run, guys.
Yeah. The
I
umpires
think so.
say it did.
Wow.
It must have hit the railing behind that 404 sign. And it's the 10th home run that Nolasco has given up this year.
Well, Fielder hit 46 of those last year, and for him, that's number 8 this year. He's a little behind schedule. But most of his pitches have been crisp, not too many hangers. Good sliders, good curveballs. He spotted the fastball well. That's the biggest thing I've noticed.
I think also the 3 runs that we got in the first inning, I think makes him a lot easier in the home plate. He doesn't have to worry about that slider that he was talking about wasn't working the 2 times before.
The other thing, Cookie, Rich made a great observation. You want to try to get more than 3 because this is a good offensive club.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Casey McGee is going to leg that one out for a base hit.
Un infield hit aquí para Casey McGee.
All right, guys. Have a good show.
All right, Richie.
Thank you, guys. You too.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay. So a home run and an infield single. That's one of those plays that if Ricky doesn't get a glove on it, it might have been an easier play. But as a pitcher, instinctively, you're going after every ball you can.
And Ricky falls off to the first base side, so he had to kind of reach back to try to pick that ball.
There's Corey Hart. Hart homered in yesterday's ball game. Four home runs in 4 games coming into this ball game.
Hey, 21 RBIs in his last 16 games.
That's a drive to left field. That's well hit. Coughlin is back to the wall, looks up, and it's gone.
And just like that, a tie ball game.
And all the opportunities the Marlins have had to add on to this 3-0 lead that they have wasted against Dave Bush.
Wow, has Corey Hart ever gotten hot? Now, he has 11 home runs and 23 RBIs in his last 17 games. He launches this ball and continues his lead in the National League in that department, home runs.
There's Jim Edmonds now against Nolasco. Swing and a miss. Adam in Tampa has this timely email. I've been asking this all season, haven't gotten an answer. What happened to the outfield scoreboard in left field? It used to look great and have the scores. Now it's gone. What do fans at the stadium do? That's Adam in Tampa. Well, Adam, the story behind that, the scoreboard in left field needed repair and needed updating, and the stadium refused to pay for it. The Marlins are merely tenants here at this ballpark, and the stadium would not update it. The stadium would not fix it, and so it's gone. And it's been replaced just by signage and a wall. The out-of-town scores are now placed up on the ribbon board which surrounds the top of the first level here at the ballpark, or the football stadium.
Yeah, electronically.
Known as a ballpark.
But I wish more would get that answer correct, because it drives me up a wall when I hear some uninformed radio host talking about how the Marlins took down the scoreboard. The Marlins did not take down the scoreboard. The stadium took down the scoreboard.
Alcides Escobar, who is 0 for 2. He runs up the bunt and takes a strike.
Quite a change in this ball game all of a sudden.
Breaking ball misses high. One emailer wants to know, where can I buy a Mike Stanton jersey? Or should I wait until the new jerseys come out in 2 years? Or is it safe to buy a current type? There's a liner to first, and Gabby snares it. We'll answer that when we get back. The Brewers have an answer. It took them 6 innings, but emphatically, Prince and Corey Hart. I think Jim Edmonds would make a great stuntman in Hollywood after his playing career. Crossbridge Coors Light Freeze Can. Now the Marlins have to kind of rekindle this thing against Dave Bush. They've had base runners in every inning, but scored in only one, and that was the first. Paulino takes up and in. Paulino, Maben, and Nolasco. We had a question about a Mike Stanton jersey. Where could the emailer, ML, get a Mike Stanton jersey right now?
Well, I'm not sure where, but I think the price may be going up. You know, we have crack staffers all around the country. Northern California, Southern California, South Florida, Northern Florida, Jacksonville. Just got someone from our crack staff in Jacksonville letting us know that Mike Stanton's hit 2 solo home runs tonight already. And they're in the 6th inning in that game.
Is that 20 on the season?
That gives him 20.
Here is Maben. He has singled and struck out. And buying his jersey, I don't think you can buy a Major League jersey, a licensed Major League jersey, until he's in the big leagues. Weeks throws to first. And Maben is just out.
That was close. That was a close play on a routine ground ball.
Maben really busting it down the first base line. Here's a look again.
Takes his time, a little tap, and just barely. And it on 2 ends. Weeks took his time,
And Fielder didn't really stretch out. You see, look how far Fielder is. He's not even extending towards Weeks and the throw.
Because I think he thought it wasn't going to be a close play.
Nolasco is up. The count is 0-1. I thought I read when Jason Hayward made his debut with the Atlanta Braves, they had to wait until the 5th inning, until the game became official, before they could sell Jason Hayward shirts and jerseys in the gift shop in Atlanta.
Now, somewhere you could probably get a Jacksonville jersey of Mike Stanton.
Nolasco pops it up. And Escobar there makes the catch. Dave Bush with a 7-pitch inning in a tie game. Fish and Brewers. Our Mercedes-Benz road ahead. Next 5 games. Brewers and Brewers. 7 o'clock starts on to New York. Road trip Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Saturday, please note, is on Big Fox. We will have Friday night and Sunday's game. Marlins live 30 minutes prior to every game except Saturday's. Ricky Nolasco in the 7th in a 3-3 game. And that happened all of a sudden. The Brewers were trailing 3-0. They hit 2 homers in the 6th. Prince Fielder, a mammoth shot to center. That was a solo blast. And then Corey Hart, a 2-run shot to left. 5 homers in 5 games for Corey Hart now.
Well, that's going to be all for Dave Bush. It's Joe Inglet pinch hitting for him. 86 pitches for Bush. And he finished on a high note, 7-pitch inning. Retired the Marlins 1-2-3 in the 6th.
Inglet out of the University of Nevada. Has been in the Cleveland and Toronto organizations. Last year got up for 36 games with the Blue Jays. Swings at a changeup. University of Nevada has put a few guys into the big leagues. You can see Rick Peterson, the new pitching coach for the Brewers, talking with Bush. He's got to be pretty pleased with the way Bush bounced back from a...
Especially after that first inning.
Yep, 3 runs in the first. 0-2 pitch. Inglet hops it into shallow center. Maven calling for it. And Cameron is there and makes the catch. You can vote for your favorite Marlin online at marlins.com. Voting underway for the 2010 Major League Baseball All-Star Game. Vote online at marlins.com and you get a chance to win a suite for 12 and an autographed All-Star poster. Or vote at the stadium during any upcoming game for a chance to win a trip to the All-Star Game. Top of the order through again, Weeks and Kataris.
You know, when Stanton gets here, he'll certainly have a different number than he had in spring training.
He was in the sixth. Where was he? 70s?
It was pretty high, yeah. It was a high number.
That's all right. Chris Coughlin can tell him about his number last year in spring training. That was another offensive lineman number.
It was in the 70s, I believe, yeah.
Tankersley and Sosa in the bullpen. Weeks is 1 for 3. And he swings and misses. We've had a few emails asking about the 10-run reel. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Marlins scored 13 runs, so I thought we'd get a glimpse of the 10-run reel. But my brother and father argued that it only makes an appearance when the Fish are up 10 runs. I thought it was when the Marlins had scored 10 runs. Can you resolve this for me? And if I'm right, can we take a peek at the 10-run reel tonight? That's from Matt. There's Trevor Hoffman. It's an odd sight having him warm up in the 7th, but that's the reality for the Brewers. He has not been good at the back of games. 2-2 coming. Fouled at the plate. The 10-run reel makes an appearance when the Marlins are up 10 or down 10. And those are the rules.
So they have to have a 10-run lead.
Yes. But I do know that there is, on the 10-run reel, some highlights from sausage race mishaps in Milwaukee. That's the best I can do for you tonight. Velasco trying to put away Weeks with a count 2-2. And he gets him. So down goes Weeks.
That's a crazy game for Ricky. It's his 3rd straight start where he hasn't walked anybody. He's made excellent pitches. That was number 8 in the strikeout department. But he had the little lapse in the 6th inning with some mistakes and a couple of home runs. One of them a 2-run shot, and it's a tie game.
George Kataris now. He is 0 for 3. We have a Chad Fairchild email from Edinburgh, Scotland. Lorne. Chad Fairchild usually does a terrific job behind home plate. Has a little bit of a delay. Lorne's favorite umpire is Dale Scott because of his signature delayed strike call, especially with a full count and the batter doesn't swing. And it seems as if the batter thinks it's ball 4 and begins walking to first base. What are your favorite umpire signature moves?
Well, one of our favorites, Jim Joyce. You know that because everybody in the ballpark knows when it's a strike.
I like Jim Joyce.
And certainly everybody tonight would.
I like Jim Joyce because just the way he emphatically calls a strike. 0-2.
Yeah, Jim Joyce takes a page out of the old Dutch Rennert way of calling a strike.
That's a great name. I can remember one of my favorite moves was Ken Kaiser when he was at usually umpiring at first base. He was a lefty, and he used to give the left hand a little bit of a stabbing motion when a guy was out. Kaiser also an ex-professional wrestler.
Yeah, he didn't want to argue with Ken Kaiser.
I don't think Bill Hahn's mustache would be a signature move. He apparently was reprimanded a bit for a confrontation with Roy Oswalt the other day. I think Leslie Nielsen in Naked Gun.
He has a lot of moves that we would like to see a little bit more.
Enrico Palazzo, the moonwalk was a good one.
Calling the pitch before it ever was even thrown.
It's a 1-2 pitch. And Ricky bounces that one up there. Velasco approaching 100 pitches in a 3-3 game in the 7th. The Marlins had Dave Bush on the ropes early after they got 3 runs and were unable to get any more. And it has cost them tonight. As Tommy pointed out, Velasco's numbers very strong. 8 strikeouts, no walks, 7 hits, all the runs earned. Tried to finish him with the breaking ball, and he bounced it up there. That's what the count's full of 3-2, and you don't want to bring this guy to the plate. You'd rather have Kataris put it in play at the very least. Missed. And now comes Ryan Braun, and with one swing, he can give the Brewers the lead.
And that's the decision Freddie Gonzalez has to make at this point. As he had his bullpen going. He had Tankersley. He's got Jorge Sosa. But right now, Freddie content with having Ricky make some good pitches to Ryan Braun.
He's made good pitches. Braun has gotten him once. Braun doubled in the first. Ricky struck him out in the third and popped him out in the sixth. Counts 1-0. Ryan Braun signed to a long-term contract. He is signed through 2015. It was an 8-year, $45 million deal. Coming off a Rookie of the Year season in 2007.
So he is a good value.
Absolutely.
He is a tremendous value. Hey, with him up there, I had a couple of things I wanted to mention, some congratulatory notes, because it reminded me of Miami. I want to congratulate Coach Morris, the Hurricanes, going on to the regional. Coach Turtle Thomas and FIU in that same regional in Miami, and also Coach John McCormack and FAU going up to Gainesville. So a lot of South Florida teams trying to move up and move on to that next level and get to the College World Series.
How about Garrett Whittles taking a 54-game hitting streak?
54-game hitting streak, and that'll take place in Miami.
Braun pulls it to Cantu, who gets the out, and Alasko gets through the seventh. Seventh inning stretch in a 3-3 game. Early runs for the Fish, late runs for the Brewers. 3-3 in the bottom of the seventh. And a Hall of Famer and a former Marlin is on the mound. Trevor Hoffman.
42-year-old Trevor Hoffman in magnificent shape, and he keeps himself that way, but he has had struggles this year, mainly with location. He certainly doesn't have the velocity that he once had, but if he doesn't locate the ball, he does not have success. The Brewers bullpen has not had success the last two games. Last two games, the Brewers bullpen in 6 1/3 innings, giving up 18 hits and 16 runs.
596 career saves, the all-time leader, and he will be Jeff Conine's guest on Marlins Live before tomorrow night's telecast. 5 for 10 in save opportunities this season. And the 5 blown saves surpasses last year's total. A Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. This was Chris Coghlan against Dave Bush. And a leadoff homer in the first. Coghlan has gone homer, ground out, double tonight. And a 1-1 coming.
There's that devastating changeup. Where Hoffman has really gotten in trouble this year, in 16 innings, he's allowed 7 home runs. And some of those home runs at the back end of games that were really devastating losses for the Brewers.
He allowed just 2 homers all of last year. And that helps illustrate the kind of season he had last year. And everybody thought he was done going into last year. The Padres certainly one of those teams. His ERA last year was 1.83 in 55 appearances. And yeah, they had Hell's Bells in Milwaukee last year. And yes, he was a Marlin long ago. Marlins took him in the expansion draft in '93. Clay Hensley getting loose. But of course, traded him to San Diego in the Gary Sheffield trade. And then certainly that trade helped bring a world championship here in '97. Coghlan hits a fly ball down the left field line. And it's a fair ball. And it bounces up over the wall. Coghlan has another double.
What a night. Home run, 2 doubles. How about where he's hit all the pitches? He had a home run to center field. His first double was down the right field line. And this double goes down the left field line. So he has used the entire field tonight with his 3 extra base hits.
Just fair. And here's Gabby Sanchez. The Marlins try to construct a rally against Trevor Hoffman. The Brewers bullpen has been woeful this year. Their Penn's ERA is 6.22. Gabby has lined out, doubled, and walked. Drops down a bunt. Hoffman gloves it. And the former college shortstop throws out Gabby Sanchez.
Nicely done by Gabby. He wanted to make sure to get that ball on the left side, if not have the third baseman field at McGee, at least get it to Hoffman. That was the only play Hoffman had.
Fiesta Friday, Jiffy Lube Fiesta Friday on the 18th. Marlins and Rays, 4 for 54, all-you-can-eat seats. Play Billy Bingo, 4,000 winners. Get an official mermaid swimsuit calendar, 1-877 Marlins. Great matchup here. You've got a Hall of Famer in Hoffman, and you've got Hanley Ramirez standing in. The go-ahead run is 90 feet away. There's 1 out, and the infield is in. Hanley takes the breaking ball down low.
Yeah, that first year as a Marlin, Trevor Hoffman had as his teacher in learning how to close games, Brian Harvey.
So the Marlins traded away in order to help themselves win 2 world championships. 2 great Padres, Trevor Hoffman and Adrian Gonzalez. Of course, Gonzalez went to the Rangers and then to the Padres. Hoffman misses inside with a fastball, and it's 2-0.
The lineage of baseball is fun to follow.
Breaking ball outside.
This is an area where Hanley has struggled somewhat this year, just 250 with runners in scoring position. Not the case for the man on deck, Jorge Cantu.
See if he gets a fastball, and let's see if he takes a rip at it on 3-0. Didn't get a fastball, didn't swing at it. And now Hoffman is setting himself up for a ground ball that can end the inning. And Cantu, who has been the Marlins' most dependable RBI man this year, and even going back to last year.
In the infield, at least the middle infielders will step back a little bit into double play position. Any ball hit to the corner infielders, unless they think it's a sure double play, they can come home. But going on contact will be Chris Coughlin, the runner at third.
Cantu settles in. 1 for 2, a double. And he got a fastball. He fouls it back. Leaders of the game presented by JM Lexus. National League RBI leaders. 2 guys in the park. JM Lexus, Price made us #1, 18 years in running. Click jmlexus.com, find out how. So he threw a fastball. You know he's got the changeup. And he threw that. Cantu flips it down the right field line. Long run. Hart dives. Won't get it. Coughlin will score. Hanley racing for third. Corey Hart was deep, and he just couldn't get there. And the Marlins have the lead, and they're set up second and third. Still 1 out.
Little slider from Trevor Hoffman. It was a good pitch. Jorge Cantu with 2 strikes on him, just trying to protect the plate, put the ball in play, maybe even think about fouling this off. Slices it away from Corey Hart. He couldn't stretch out that big body to get to it. And a run comes in to score, but more importantly, the Marlins are set up to get more. Good base running by Hanley. Once he saw that ball drop, he was able to get to third.
Ugla against Trevor Hoffman. Infield's back in. Cantu and Hanley are out there with 1 out. And Ugla couldn't lay off the changeup. Why has Trevor Hoffman's changeup been different than others? Why has that pitch made him a Hall of Famer?
The deception, because of the same arm action on the fastball, and when he was throwing 92, 94, it was even more devastating.
Ball and a strike.
Boy, the Marlins had 7 extra base hits yesterday. They've had 7 extra base hits tonight.
He left the changeup up. That came in at 71 miles an hour. One and two. Fastball missed down low.
Hey, we found out where Clay Hensley's superstitious spot is. Remember, he was ready to come in the game yesterday, and then the Marlins scored more, and then he didn't. So he gets himself ready, throwing, and then comes and kind of rests and watches and waits in that spot in the bullpen.
And he's watching a guy that was a teammate of his that he got to watch a lot in San Diego. Ugla lays off the changeup. Now it's 3-2. Base open, and Cody is on deck. I guess Ugla probably saying to himself, is he going to double up on the changeup?
Oh, yeah, he certainly can. You can't think you're going to get a fastball. He probably won't get a fastball here. But when Hoffman was throwing 94 and 95, there was a good chance.
Changeup, and Ugla crushed it. Foul. He's left a couple up in this at bat,
and that's been from what we heard in talking to Ken Maka and talking to others who follow this club. Location has been his problem. He threw the same last year. He didn't throw any harder. His changeup was the same. His arm action was the same. It's all been about location and where his pitches are.
3-2 coming. He got him on the changeup. Much better location.
It's the type of pitcher that over the years has given Dan Ugla problems. He's such a great fastball hitter that off-speed stuff just gets him to commit, and he was out in front.
Here is Cody Ross. Ken Lee, our Vice President of Baseball Information, has just passed us a note. Trevor Hoffman has pitched in the 7th inning in 30 regular season games. 28 of them were in 93, once in 03, and this is the second time this year. So only 3 times since 93 has he even been in a game in the 7th inning. The reason I referred to him as the Vice President of Baseball Information is we got an email from someone, and I don't
What,
have
did we get an email from the president?
No, I got
baseball information.
Here it is from Joe. He said, "You guys are great, but if you say crack staff one more time, we're going to make it a game night drinking game."
What's wrong with that?
See, that's a good point. Go ahead, say it again, and Joe can take another slug on whatever he's drinking. Here's the 1-0.
He can do that and play beer pong at the same time.
Our Geico quote of the night on what makes baseball beautiful. You can be down and out, next thing you know, you feel on top of the world, and nobody can get you out. Ross is 0 for 3 tonight. He was on top of the world, certainly, yesterday.
And anybody that's been around this game, played this game, they know exactly what that means. It is a humbling game.
That almost looked like a crossed up Kataris, because if you can't catch an 84-mile-an-hour fastball, you're thinking it's a 71-mile-an-hour changeup.
Yeah, the thing that's surprising, he's thrown a few more breaking balls.
And that cost his pitcher a strike call, I think. He boxed it so badly.
There's a 3-0 changeup.
In a bad location. Well, the Lasco is happy to see the run up there. Ricky has a chance to win this ball game. Ball in the dirt. Ross walks. Now Paulino. And this, the matchups get a little more intriguing as they go down the line. Ugla has shown he's a little more selective in the last couple of years. Ross has not been. Paulino really has not been either. And so we've seen Hoffman nibble at the strike zone.
I think Ronnie will have good swings against Trevor Hoffman, especially if he makes a mistake with one of those off-speed pitches. Look at that, 25 pitches, more balls than strikes.
Ronnie lines it into right field. Good call, partner. Hart picks it off. Hanley scores. Cantu coming. He's going to score. And out is Cody Ross. The throw to third base. Ross and Joe Espada right now having a discussion, but Paulino drives in 2. The Marlins knock around a Hall of Famer in Trevor Hoffman. It is 6-3. The thoughts that Ronnie would have good swings against
He has
Hoffman.
good swings against soft-tossing left-handers, and Hoffman's not going to throw him a nasty slider. He actually hung a slider to Ronnie out over the plate, and he's been hitting the ball well the other way, and that's exactly what he did.
Okay, what happened to Cody at third base?
Cody gets a good jump. Looks like he picks up Joe Espada there. Right there, he's looking at him, takes a big turn, and actually gets caught too far down the line, and George Kataris, the catcher, heads up, made a good throw to nailing, but both runs came in to score on Ronnie's single.
And this sets up perfectly for the Marlins now. They deliver the game to the 8th inning to Clay Hensley with Leo Nunez waiting in the wings. Ricky Nolasco is in line for his 5th win, but you still got to get some big bats out to get there.
And Wes Helms, we've seen this move often, comes in to play third. Jorge Cantu moves across the diamond at first.
Hensley misses outside with a breaking ball, and it's 1-1. Freddie makes that move. As you see Hensley's numbers, they've been outstanding. He makes that move, and I think a lot of people assume it's to improve the defense at first. And while Cantu is a very good first baseman, the biggest reason he makes that move is to improve his defense at third base, with Helms taking over for Cantu.
And with Cantu going over to first, he keeps Cantu's bat in the game.
Fielder with a big swing and a miss, and it's 2-2. We had a good Prince Fielder email about 10 minutes ago, if I can find it.
Things got a little tight there for a while. We had to stray from the emails.
Yeah, they tend to stack up. Clay Hensley. Brewers are thinking to themselves, oh, wait a minute, Clay Hensley didn't have that pitch when we saw him last in 2007.
I mean, his numbers, when you saw them up on the screen, are just absolutely gaudy.
I'm telling you, Tommy Hunt, that when it gets down to selecting a pitching staff for the All-Star team, if Clay Hensley stays on this pace, he's got a shot as a middle reliever.
We went on and had a nice campaign last year, you and I, second half of the season, for Chris Coughlin.
A liner right to Helms.
You and I, from years past in different venues, are good friends with Charlie Manuel. So we will make a point in Philadelphia to bring Clay Hensley's numbers up to Charlie Manuel, who in some way will have some say as to who's on his staff.
I think maybe a nice gift accompanying that.
we could find something. Yeah, a bribery. We're not beyond that.
Here's Corey Hart. It's rare that a middle reliever, a setup man, gets on the All-Star team, but it happens. And I think, if you're looking at middle relievers and setup guys who have been lights out in the 8th, Clay Hensley is a good place to start. Hart is 2 for 3. He's homered again in this one. Remember, he had the big weekend, the walk-off shot Friday night, the grand slam and the 2-run shot on Saturday. He rested on Sunday. But then he picked right up on Monday and banged one into the seats here to open up the series yesterday afternoon. So 5 homers in 5 games. And a ground ball that's just fouled. The Prince Fielder question that I can't find amidst the hundreds that I've got on my screen. They want to know how. Oh, here it is. Ray in Vero Beach. Remember last year you heard that Prince Fielder was a vegetarian. How in the world does a guy that big maintain that weight and energy on vegetables? I think there's some soy protein involved, Ray. And actually, he maintains it quite well.
Yeah, I think he will admit it's something that he has to stay with. He's always going to have to fight that weight to keep himself in shape. He's in great shape. He runs hard. If you watch him play, he runs up the line hard every time.
How about the Dolphins' Ricky Williams, who's vegetarian? A vegan.
That's even more serious, right?
I thought those were the bad guys on Star Trek. Hensley with a 2-2 coming. Hensley is so intense. He'll miss on a 2-2 pitch like that, and you can just see it in his eyes, and it's maybe his mentality and his attitude, it suits an 8th inning or a 9th inning guy rather than a starting pitcher. Hart wasn't going after that changeup. And so Hensley lost him. And up comes Jim Edmonds.
That's just a case of Hart being hot. If you're locked in the way he is over the last week and a half, you take that pitch. When you're struggling and slumping, you chase that pitch.
We have a great community of viewers out there, and some that know you very well. Scott says, Rich, please push Tommy's buttons. It's been a while since a good Tommy rant. Maybe you can get him fired up more about that Cantu error, or if all else fails, just bring up Carlos Marmol. And this is inside, and it's 2-0.
Hey, Marmol has turned it around this year. I mean, I think Lou's not even ranting as much. He's throwing his slider for strikes. You know, you got to give credit. Credit is due, and some players improve. Marmol has shown that.
Hensley catches the corner, and it's 3-1 to Edmonds. Escobar, the Brewers shortstop, is on deck. Marlins raced to a 3-0 lead in this one. Brewers caught him with 3 in the 6th. The Marlins put 3 on the board in the bottom of the 7th, and Hensley came out and got the first 2 outs, but now...
Yeah, all of a sudden now the Brewers get the tying run to the plate. And Alcides Escobar.
So it's Escobar, who was homered twice this year, and is 0 for 3, lined out in his last at bat.
Haven't had to talk too much about some games yesterday, and you have to mention Ubaldo Jimenez of the Rockies won his 10th game. He pitched a shutout, 4th complete game of the year. He's 10-1 with an 0.78 ERA.
Pretty good lock to start the All-Star game.
Yeah, I would say so.
Cameron Lowe
spotting and painting 98-mile-an-hour fastballs.
Hensley misses up, and it's 2-1. And this is one of those rare outings where Hensley,
he doesn't have the
command.
The sharp command of the stuff. He's thrown a couple good changeups. Good fastball there.
Two and 2. Hensley trying to get through the 8th. Little pop-up. Ugla goes out, and he reaches, won't get it. It lands behind him. A run scores. It is 6-4. Hensley made a good pitch. Craig Counsell is going to come up and pinch hit, and Escobar has a bloop RBI single. And the Brewers are a little closer. Runners first and second.
Yeah, he could not have hit this in a better place. It was the breaking ball that did back up into a little better hitting zone for Escobar to get to. And speaking of get to, Dan Uggla couldn't get to it, Cameron Maben couldn't get to it, and the inning continues. Craig Counsell doing his normal job. Comes into this plate appearance hitting .274. He's 6 for 18 as a pinch hitter as the bullpen gets busy.
Tankersley and Sosa.
Ken Maka knows that he can put Craig Counsell at second base, at short, at third occasionally to rest somebody.
Counsell had a bounce-back year last year. Hit .285. And he had really struggled in 2007 and 2008. And he takes outside. Counsell in his 16th Major League season. And, of course, the winning run in Game 7. People forget he had a sacrifice fly in the 9th inning of that game.
That was huge.
To tie the game and send it to extras.
I'll tell you the other thing people forget. When he was acquired, the Marlins, Jim Leland in particular, wanted solid defense at second base. Counsell in the 51 games that he played at second base, he hit .299. He only made 3 errors. So he gave the club that solid defense they were looking for.
And a little more of a veteran presence than a young second baseman named Louis Castillo, who would get his ring in 2003 down the road. As well as 97, Louis got a ring from that team as well.
And, of course, Counts got another one with the Diamondbacks.
Yes, he did, and he played a big role in that dramatic Game 7 against the Yankees. Counts 1-2. Hensley has thrown 26 pitches. 13 balls, 13 strikes. Counsell grew up on Milwaukee Brewer baseball. His dad worked in the front office for the Brewers. 2-2 coming. He went around, and Hensley gives up a run but survives the 8th. The Brewers are a run closer, but the Marlins are still up by 2, 6-4.
The terrific Archbishop McCarthy winning the 4A championship in baseball. Rich Pielski is the head coach. Alex Fernandez, assistant coach. Guys, congratulations, coach. It was a great run, and tell us how you guys did it.
Well, I tell you, we're so excited. The boys did a great job. They got really hot at the right time, and we were able to run off 7 games at the end of the season against some, very formidable competition, and they brought home the big trophy.
went 27-5. We'll see him being honored before the game. And Alex Fernandez, you had some great moments on this field. Obviously, none better than the 1997 championship. Your son being on the team and you being able to coach, where does this moment rank for you?
Craig, I'm going to be very honest with you. It's on top. 97, we had a great year, and it was me personally fulfilling. But to do something like this with your son and with the other boys is definitely very special. So I'm very excited to be a part of it.
Wow, that's great. I know you have Nick Castellanos. Is that right? Your shortstop's a potential top 10 pick?
Absolutely. Very excited for him. Draft's coming up next week. Most probably will be a first-round draft pick. So he's got a very exciting career ahead of him in baseball. We're looking forward to watching him make his way up to the bigs.
Hey, the Mavericks have interesting team colors. The program was started 1993 with the Marlin colors?
93, that's right.
So you got the teal and the black.
Absolutely.
However, the M, this looks like a Brewers M here, Coach.
Yes, it does. Actually, Coach Fernandez, let's take the credit.
Well, no, actually, it is. It's a similar to, but it isn't a Brewers M. It's a McCarthy M.
It's a McCarthy M. All right. Congratulations to the boys 4A champions, and let's not forget our 3A softball champions, Gulliver Prep. Guys, back over to you.
Cameron Maben takes down low from Cameron Lowe.
It's great to see Alex Fernandez, by the way, before the game. Had a chance to talk to him. Also, one of the coaches on that team, Nelson Santavania, a former Major League player. So those kids are in good hands, and congratulations to them.
Toyota trends moving forward. We told you earlier, one stadium has more inside the park home runs than Sun Life Stadium since '93, Kauffman Stadium. And Maben strikes out.
Yeah, looking for pitching help, and Cameron Lowe was just called up. All the games he appeared in Nashville were as a starter. So he's a big guy, 6'8", out of Cal State Northridge.
Helms is going to get the at-bat. Freddie in the double switch, putting Wes in the 9 spot. Wes Helms, a former Brewer. There's Leo Nunez getting ready for the 9th. West, of course, 4 years in Atlanta, 3 years in Milwaukee. A stop here for the Fish, then to Philly, then back with the Fish. Escobar throws out Helms. We update our poll, our interactive text poll, best part of Marlins broadcast in 2010. Exmo has jumped to 26%. Jeff Conine on all home games holding in there at 26%. And all games in high definition at 30%. 789-789, all normal texting charges apply.
Boy, back-to-back 3-hit nights for Chris Coghlan. The first time that he's accomplished that since last August 27th and 28th. Seemed like last August and September he was getting 3 hits every night. So good to see him swing the bat the way he has. Remember when he won all those games without an extra base hit? He's got 3 tonight. He's the first Marlin to have 3 extra base hits in a game this year.
This is game 2 of a 4-game set, and Coghlan already has 6 hits in the series. I think it's as simple, or at least it has started out as simple as Coghlan not swinging at pitches that were up under his hands, pitches in the dirt. And once he stopped doing that, he started to make much more consistent contact. 1-2 coming.
And trust me, he's you and I both know he's put in the work, he's put in time, he's put in the physical work, but also the mental preparation part of it, looking at video, watching at bats.
You see day to day in Major League Baseball, you see players go into slumps. Jim Presley will tell you that. Any hitting coach has to deal with that. Coghlan has not dropped his head. Swings and misses at a real nasty.
That's a nasty two-seamer there.
Yeah. Cameron Lowe strikes him out. Marlins need 3 outs to get the W. It wasn't a thing of beauty, but for Jorge Cantu, it was a big RBI hit. Marlins reclaimed the lead. For Cantu, another big night, a couple doubles. Leo Nunez is in the 9, and he gets the top of the Brewers order. Ricky Weeks, George Kataris, Ryan Braun.
Now with the little struggles that Clay Hensley had in that 8th inning, what it did is turn the order around. And so Leo Nunez gets the top of the order for the Brewers.
Gabby has been to the rail twice to get pop-ups. Cantu gives it a shot, and he comes up short.
So with a couple of walks and a base hit, instead of seeing maybe the bottom part of the order, Leo gets the first 3 hitters. And if it goes beyond that, Prince Fielder.
Ricky Nolasco started this ball game. See the numbers on Nunez. 103 pitches for Ricky. 7 hits, 3 runs, a walk, and 8 strikeouts. There's that devastating changeup that comes in at 87 miles an hour. Nunez out in front of the count, 1-2. Weeks has singled and struck out 3 times. Struck him out. Weeks doesn't like it. He and Fairchild exchange pleasantries.
Yeah, it was a changeup that had unbelievable movement, and I think Weeks thought it was going to stay outside. It came back. Pitch number 4. Which is in that upper corner of the strike zone. Toyota Fox Tracks telling us that.
Now Kataris, the Brewers catcher, who got the start in the number 2 spot in the order. He's 0 for 3. Leo would like to be able to face the hitters following Kataris with him not on base. Because then you got Ryan Braun and Prince Fielder. Much nicer to face Braun with nobody on and a 2-run lead. Paulino took that one right in the chops.
Yeah, that's the way you'd like it. You'd like to map it out that way. It doesn't always work that way, but that's the way you want to see it.
You could hear the home plate umpire Chad Fairchild asking Paulino if he was okay. It's an umpire's courtesy when the catcher gets hit like that. Give him an extra few seconds to catch his senses.
That change up again. See the difference in 20-some years also. Leo Nunez's changeup now is harder than Hoffman's fastball. And early in Trevor Hoffman's career, that's pretty much the case with him.
Ugla comes in and gets a nice hop, flips to first in time. There are 2 outs. It's almost tough to watch Trevor Hoffman pitch this way. A guy that is going to the Hall of Fame. He had such a great year last year, and this year has just been a nightmare for him. Hoffman in this ball game gave up the 3 runs in just the 1 inning he worked. The Brewers are paying him quite well this year. He's making $8 million. Now Braun. Doubled yesterday, doubled tonight.
Again, you want to go right after this guy. You don't want to have to face a potential tying run. And that potential tying run could be Prince Fielder.
He's gone 3-0 on Braun. Pumps in a strike, 93 miles an hour. And another, and it's 3-2. Marlins trying to nail down their 3rd consecutive win. Nunez, 3-2 coming. Braun went after it.
Well, he got
fouls
it
it off.
Yeah, that would have been ball 4. I mean, Braun just kind of looked back and asked home plate umpire Chad Fairchild, was that a ball?
Nunez 10 of 12 in save opportunities. Right-handers hitting just 128 against him coming into tonight. Lefty's not much better, 216. Ground ball up the middle into center field. That's a base hit. And Ryan Braun keeps the Brewers alive here tonight in South Florida. And so how about this for a clash with 2 outs and the game on the line? Prince Fielder and Leo Nunez.
Number 48,
Well, you got power against power. You got the scenario you really didn't want to see, but it's a good matchup.
Change up. 0-1. You see the power that he generates with that strong lower body. Braun is running. Tapper to first. Cantu steps on the bag. Ball game. Marlins win it. Nunez saves it. Nolasco gets the W. And the Fish have beaten the Brewers the first 2 games of this 4-game series. 11th save for Nunez. Chris Coughlin, a big night.